Greetings to all. Welcome to CEC lecture. Welcome to the special session Pratikatmak Abhivyakti. And with me is Madam Sharma, who will be joining us as we discuss the topic. The topic of analysis is dimensions of globalization. The lecture is divided over important parts. In this lecture, we shall discuss various dimensions of globalization. The lecture shall discuss important aspects of the concept of globalization. The lecture shall elaborate on 6 important dimensions of globalization, namely political, economic, technological, ecological, cultural and social. To begin with, let us clarify the term globalization. According to popular research over the internet, we got the work that according to World Health Organization, globalization can be defined as increasing interconnectedness and interdependence of peoples and countries. Another important perspective that we get from imf.org, that is, globalization is the process through which an increasingly free flow of ideas, people, goods, services, capital leads to integration of economies and societies. It is often argued that globalization is often viewed as an irreversible force. Taking the discussion forward, the research note at imf.org also says globalization represents a political choice in favor of international economic integration. Further, globalization has great potential to contribute to the growth that is essential to achieve a sustained reduction of global poverty. Let's now discuss dimensions of globalization. We shall take each dimension one at a time. The political dimension of globalization highlights that there is an increasing role of non-state actors. There is increase in the role of non-governmental parties, growing impact of intergovernmental organization, creation and existence of the international organizations. So therefore, the political dimension of globalization points towards the rise of non-state actors, namely international organizations, intergovernmental organizations, multinational companies who play an important role alongside the state in international relations. We all know, as per the realist perspective, it is the state which is the most important actor in international relations. The liberal perspective tries to critique it, and the new liberal perspective tries to present the idea of complex interdependence to point towards rise of multiple channels of communication, and herein role of international organizations, non-governmental parties is an important aspect. In the political dimension of globalization, one has to focus on that how from anarchy there is a growth to a worldwide political system, and this transition with reference to growth of the worldwide political system both in size and complexity has an important outcome, and this outcome is intensification and expansion of relationship within and between and amongst various nation states. So therefore, the new realist perspective in international relations theory, which points towards anarchy, lack of central authority, from that, because of globalization, there is rise of worldwide political system both in size and complexity, and with the presence of state as well as non-state actors, there is intensification and expansion of relationship. Globalization has had a profound impact on political institutions. There are various debates to highlight the impact of globalization on principle of state sovereignty. Earlier, the state was sovereign with reference to its decision-making capacity. Now, there are critics who argue that because of globalization, there is too much impact by the market, global trade forces, multinational companies on the decision-making ability of the nation state. So therefore, globalization indeed has an important impact on the working of political institutions, and an important thing in this regard is the impact on the principle of state sovereignty. Taking the lecture further, we will now discuss economic dimension of globalization. Now, we all know that at the end of the Second World War, Bretton Woods Conference was organized. The Bretton Woods Conference, also known as UN Monetary and Financial Conference, worked in an important way to work out foundations for global trade and global finance. The global economic order emerged after the Second World War, when the Bretton Woods Conference laid the foundation for the IMF and the World Bank. One finds that with globalization of production, finance, markets, technology, organizational regimes, all of it had an important outcome, and that outcome was intensification and stretching of economic relations. As we discuss the economic dimension of globalization, one has to understand that the Bretton Woods institutions, namely the IMF and the World Bank, have an important role to play in making globalization work. Reading from the sources of imf.org, that is, created in 1944 to help restore and sustain the benefits of global integration, promoting international economic cooperation, today they pursue within their respective mandates the common objective of broadly shared prosperity. So therefore, as we understand the economic dimension of globalization, wherein the Bretton Woods Conference laid the foundations for IMF and the World Bank, today the IMF and the World Bank are playing a very important role in the global world economy. Alongside that, today there is an important role played by multinational corporations, and to add to that, the significant role played by transnational organizations, from job creation to revenue creation to adding to diversity of choices to adding to infrastructure, bringing FDI. MNCs and TNCs have played an important role with reference to development. So therefore, as we discuss the economic dimension of globalization, there is rise of global markets, there is rise of global exchange, and herein with diversity of goods, diversity of services, diversity of consumer choices, job opportunities, one has to see that the world today in the post-Cold War era is a different world. Cold War era which was defined by two competing ideologies, capitalism versus communism. With the end of the Cold War, end of bipolarity, rise of multiple centers in the world, they have worked in a manner because of the end of the Cold War, the economic order of the world also witnessed changes. Herein, Bretton Woods institutions, MNCs and TNCs are indeed playing an important role, and we must understand that. Further, as we discuss the economic dimension of globalization, one cannot ignore that the working of Bretton Woods institutions, MNCs, TNCs is also criticized. That is, there is lack of democratic deficit in the working of international organizations. Further, there is rising inequality. The rich countries remain rich, whereas the poor countries are often bypassed in the working of forces of global trade and finance. Taking the discussion further, we will now discuss technological dimension of globalization. Technology is an important variable of power in world politics. Technology has always played an important role in human evolution too. Through technology, in today's time, one finds that the world is getting connected like never before. Technology is responsible for linking one part of the globe with the other. Technology is responsible for rise of new industrial models. So therefore, with the spread of technologies around the globe, space and time are no longer a hindrance. Globalization, namely interchange, exchange, always existed in human civilization. But because of unprecedented nature of technological change, communications revolution, today technology is playing a very important role in spread of globalization. As we understand technological dimension of globalization, one must understand increased pace of technological diffusion. Today, technology is an important aspect of development from national to global levels. rising domestic productivity levels, partial reshaping of innovation landscape, rise of new industrial models, in all of it, technology is playing a very important role. With rise of internet, communications revolutions, world wide web, satellite communications, new forms of social media and new media applications, technology has presented a unique interface for human civilization. And this technology too gives a new face to working of globalization. Today, internet connectivity has changed the landscape. One part of the world is connected with the other. Further, the impact of this technological dimension of globalization is spread of technology has made production networks cheaper and easier. Because of technology, with information being the important aspect with reference to progress and growth, production networks working cheaper and easier, one has to see its profound impact with reference to the industrial models also, with reference to its impact on households also. As we are discussing the advantages of technological dimensions, connectivity, information and production networks cheaper and easier, one has to see that technological dimension of globalization has an important issue for everyone to reflect on. And that is issue of availability and accessibility to all. The issue of right technological infrastructure to support technological revolution. All of it has to be understood in a deeper manner. Let's now go towards the next dimension of globalization, the ecological dimension of globalization. We all know human beings depend on environment, their surroundings for their various needs. However, with rise of industrialization, urbanization, new areas, new opportunities were presented before humanity and humankind. But however, with urbanization, industrialization, one finds that in this process of rapid change, environment suffered a lot. Today when we hear about climate change, global warming, ozone layer depletion, loss of biodiversity, scarcity of resources, increased greenhouse emissions, deforestation, all of it are linked to the way human beings have tried to control or establish their domination over the environment. To add an important word and vision here, the words of Mahatma Gandhi ji, that there is enough in the world for our needs but not for our greed. To put this vision and these important words in context of ecological dimension of globalization, that is, no doubt globalization presented new opportunities. It led to new areas with respect to job opportunities, industrial models, development, welfare. But at the same time, one cannot ignore that how the issue of ecological safety was ignored. Today, there is a need for environmental protection. This is why sustainability, the need to have sustainable business and governance practices, reduce, reuse, recycle are important measures to correct the damages done because of human interface, human interactions, human dependence on the environment. To talk about an important dimension of globalization, next we will discuss cultural dimension of globalization. How do we define culture? Culture implies a way of life. As we discuss cultural dimension of globalization, one understands that with the rise of technology, rampant communication, connectivity, there has been interchange, exchange, transmission of ideas, meanings, norms, values around the world in such a way which has worked in a manner to extend and intensify social relations. Cultural dimension of globalization, critics often argue that with rise of westernization, Western values, rise of new forms of communication links, rise of new forms of media, in all of it, there is the issue of homogenization, neglect of the local cultures, neglect of the indigenous values. Further, as we discuss cultural globalization, this phenomena is being experienced in everyday life as well. With diffusion of commodities, ideas, there is a very important issue of standardization of cultural expressions around the world. Last, social dimension of globalization. This refers to the impact of globalization on the life and work of people, on their families, societies. Issues are often raised, concerns are often pointed out about the impact of globalization on employment, working conditions, income and social protection, amongst others. Dear learners, we hope the lecture on dimensions of globalization presented to you significant inputs and insights. We look forward to positive, encouraging feedback from you all. Thank you very much.